On this episode, we smoke the Perla del Mar Corojo Toro 6 1/4 by 54 from Newman cigars. We talk about the difference between natural and sun-grown wrappers, and also a little bit about the retrohale. I'm your host, Johnny Midas, and you're listening to Burnline Podcast. Burnline Podcast. The burn line on a well-crafted cigar is straight and sharp as a razor, much like our wit and wisdom. And what's up, everybody? Johnny Midas here on Burnline Podcast. Angel, how we doing this morning?
Trying to stay warm. It is cold, if you didn't know or realize.
It is absolutely freezing. We've got this PDM Corojo today, and I'll go ahead and hold that up to the camera. It says by J.C. Newman. Props to them for putting a barcode on the back. Of course, there's still a price tag on the front. Remind me to have a convo with somebody about that. We're also going to talk about retrohale and the difference between natural and sun-grown wrappers on a cigar, because that bothers everybody. But I brought some stuff to show you.
All right.
I can't remember if I showed you that. That's the Van Gogh.
Yeah, you showed me that, but I don't think the listeners / now viewers got to see.
El Septimo Sacred Art Collection Van Gogh. And that is a big, big cigar. To get for some context, my hand is almost 11 inches from base to tip of my finger. So that is a fucking enormous cigar.
It's a little bit bigger than Johnny Midas.
It's a little bigger than Johnny Midas. And then I've got this 2023 Asylum 11.
Nice.
Hold that up for everybody to see. Might have seen this coffin box around your local cigar store.
Can I open it?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
I dig that. I like Asylum, man. Their boxes are always awesome.
Dude, their presentation is on fleek.
Yeah. I guess, oh, man, I guess we can't even see the cigar, though.
No, you can't. Well, so we can take it out. I mean,
I didn't want to unwrap it, though.
Yeah. That's what it looks like for everybody in the audience. It's like wrapped in this wax paper. It's
Fancy,
super cool that it's got the year on that wax paper.
Yeah.
So if you want a collectible, this is fucking it, man. Here, I'll slide that in. What, oh yeah, and I got one more. This is the Perdomo 30th anniversary Sungrown. So, and this is the Robusto, my favorite size. Soft box press, like most of your Perdomo stuff.
Yeah, I didn't smoke it yet because I need to find the right time to smoke this. I just don't want to smoke it to smoke it.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a chance to talk to you when you gave it to me, but I was like, holy shit, he opened the box.
Yeah, so I did. I opened the box.
He was like...
And smoked a couple.
What's in the box?
What's in the box? Yeah, I think I like the sun-grown the best of Perdomo's offerings. Yeah. So, you know, they've got basically Connecticut and sun-grown and Maduro for everything they make.
Wait, aren't they all sun-grown?
Well, we're going to get into that.
Yeah.
But those are the three wrappers, and most of the stuff you can get in those three. Now, there's some exceptions. You got the Champagne, which is the Connecticut, and then you get the Champagne Noir, which is not a Maduro, but it's not really a Connecticut.
One of them shade-grown, right?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, their Connecticut's are, I'm not sure the seed. They're just shade-grown. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the actual leaf. It's not Connecticut broadleaf necessarily.
I don't know the leaf, but I know they do shade-grow.
Yeah.
So that makes sense out of the natural and sun-grown situation.
Well, yeah, natural is like the name that folks gave to stuff that's just grown out in the field, like normal.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, we'll get into that.
Yeah. Sorry to bounce into
a little bit more, but today we're smoking the PDM Corojo from J.C. Newman, and I left it in the cellar. I usually take it out of the cellar before the show because it sounds crazy on the microphone.
That's not static.
Yeah, but I left it on there to show folks. It's got the barcode on the back of the cello. So this is a cigar that was made for retailers.
Yeah.
100%. It's affordable. it's good. We're going to smoke it, obviously, on the show. Accessible, and it's packaged for a retailer. So extra points to Newman for considering their customers when putting this together. You can just put that in the point-of-sale system at your store, and it looks good, too.
Yeah.
Like the barcode label.
Yeah, the barcode. They put the J.C. Newman seal on it, and then the PDM seal.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Since we have the budget for it now, the pronunciation for PDM is Perla del Mar, which means Pearl of the Sea.
Pearl of the Sea.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the presentation on this Pearl. The box is forgettable. It's just your standard cigar box, I would say.
Yeah, it's not that exciting. Honestly, for what with the story behind this, it's like, come on, like, a little more art.
Maybe, but it's also low end. But yeah, I was expecting like open the lid and there's like a mural on the inside of like the conquistadores discovering the golden leaf.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
You want to talk about that story?
Yeah. So apparently the explorers / conquistadors,
the explorers
landed in Cuba, early Cuba, and they ran into what we know as the Dorado tobacco, and that was the first time they saw that tobacco, and they were like, "Oh, let's call it Pearl of the Sea since we found it close to the sea."
Yeah,
but it doesn't look like a pearl because pearls are white and shiny. So that's how the PDM tobacco / cigar got its name, was from them showing up and said, "Hey, that looks like a pearl somehow."
Well, interesting. Branding or background?
Yeah, definitely.
The actual cigar, the wrapper looks great. It's not special. Like nothing stands out about it. It looks like just a nice, well-crafted cigar. Soft box press. It's 6 1/4 by 50. By 50. By
4.
54.
I knew it was 54. Yeah, 54.
Yeah. Which means once it decompresses from this soft box press, it's going to be bigger than that.
Right.
It'll probably look a little larger. I really like the band on this. So you got like this matte reddish brown that really, it's just a little bit darker than the wrapper.
Yeah.
Right.
And the presentation is different depending on the wrapper you get.
Right, because there's a Maduro as well.
Right. Maduro, this Corojo, and then a Connecticut.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a Connecticut.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool. And this retails for $9 here at Union Cigar, Hanover, Pennsylvania, USA. While a box of 25 will set you back $202. That comes out to just $8.10 a stick, so pretty affordable. And Newman makes like the Diamond Crown. Mm-hmm. The Julius Caesar.
Great smoke, yeah.
So, a lot of folks like Newman products.
Right. This
the
is
Brick House, El Baton, right? Those are all Newman products.
Yeah. This is on the little lower end, too, because the Caesar and the Diamond Crown are not cheap cigars.
So if you like the Julius Caesar and the Diamond Crown and you want to try something, from Newman, this is your affordable one, your approachable one, right?
Yep.
And that's, that price point for a Toro, like that's
oh my God,
Perdomo territory.
Yeah.
It's like
the amount of smoke you get for the price to smoke ratio is freaking insane and phenomenal.
And we didn't do our intros, so you're listening to Burn Line Podcast, coming to you as always, not live from the Hot Box, the smoky back room where deals are struck and fortunes are made, adjacent to the Blanco Cigar Lounge, nestled among the complex of rooms that comprise Union Cigar, Hanover, Pennsylvania, USA, the only Blanco Cigar Lounge in North America. And now you can see it because we're on video. So this is the Hot Box, and it's about to, it's about to get really fucking smoky. But it won't if Johnny Midas keeps running his golden palette instead of lighting up the cigar. So I think it is time for our official cutting.
All right.
I'm going to use my Drew Estate double guillotine, close-ended, and you're using the Craftsman's Bench?
Yep, Craftsman's Bench, open-ended, double guillotine.
Double guillotine. The official cutting is brought to you by Fat Boys Cigars. The bold and delicious flavors of premium tobacco are highlighted in the original Jacked cigar by Fat Boy Cigars. And don't forget to try the new Fat Boy Cigars Boots on the Ground series. For every cigar in this series, Fat Boy Cigars will donate $1 to a charity benefiting our frontline heroes. Fat Boy Cigars, welcome to the Fat Boys world. And as always, we remind you to clip that cigar with authority. No limp-wristed cutting allowed.
It was a little aggressive.
Oh, very.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to clip mine again.
Oh,
you can see it's not quite enough, I don't think.
You didn't clip it with authority. What's going on there?
I clipped it with authority. I just
missed.
Clipped it shittily with authority. And this is the hand job we always talk about.
Oh, yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hand job. No.
I'm just, and then I'm not going to zoom in or do anything fucking weird because that's too much work. But
you just get to watch this.
Yeah, like all the speckles of tobacco or whatever you can see right here. And it is time to light these cigars, I think. So you want the Rocky Patel Golden Cross. I have got the fake DuPont side light.
Not the Johnny Midas lighter.
I don't have my official Johnny Midas gold bar lighter.
1 in a million.
Yeah, 1 of a million. And this is kind of what roasting your cigar or toasting your cigar with a soft flame looks like. As always, we remind you, toasted, not roasted. So I like the visual.
Yeah.
But now that we're visual, folks can see. This is what we're doing when I'm cutting all that dead air out of the audio podcast.
Especially like if we got newbies or, newbies are just jumping into the podcast. You know what? When I was behind the counter, that was one of my favorite parts was teaching new people how to do all this. The cut, the light, the toast.
Now, you're taking a bit longer than maybe normal because that's a single flame.
Yeah.
And on the camera, they're probably seeing the soft flame and not the jet. That's why it's so far away.
And it's dead.
Why don't you grab that Paleo 3 flame down there?
Yeah. The Paleolithic. Maybe. There we go. Now we're ready for liftoff. All right.
And that's kind of what a good light looks like.
Kinda. A little struggling, obviously, this morning.
I just meant how much time it actually takes to get a good toast on your cigar. If you're toasting it, not just sucking the flame in and blowing the hell out of it.
Don't be that guy that like jets up right into your cigar. And, take your time. You're smoking a cigar. Just remember that. You're smoking a cigar. You're going to be taking your time. No rush. Hopefully no rush.
Yeah, like if there's a rush, you're probably doing it wrong. Or it might not be the right hobby for you. You know?
Yeah.
So I had a little, you can see right here the cap leaf actually detached.
I see it, yeah.
Kind of common. If something's going to fuck up, it's often that.
Yeah. You did get a double cut, so.
I did double cut it. I put it under some stress, and it kind of failed there. But you can see the little wrinkle right there that was already there. That's what happened, but yeah, pretty common. So this is the Perla del Mar Corojo. It comes in 3 wrappers.
Yep.
Right. The Connecticut, the Corojo, and the Maduro, and it is from J.C. Newman Cigars. This is a Toro, 6 1/4 by 54, soft box pressed, and you already talked about the kind of cool backstory.
Yeah.
So when it comes to presentation, and I don't know if everyone can see the band there. I love it, man. Like the
A+ on the band.
Yeah, the band is great. Like
C+ on the box.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Also, I think it would be super cool. I know they were probably trying to save costs. Right?
Yeah.
And I can't fault them for that, but like they could have done a cheapo cardboard type of box with a flip up lid, and they could just have this same story.
Yeah.
on the inside lid of the box with like some artwork or something.
Yeah, it might have some. Well, it just got a thought. Maybe I want to see what you think about it. I think maybe what they were trying to do, but I mean, if it's been around longer, my thinking is they were trying to avoid copying New World or looking like New World.
Could be, yeah, maybe.
But I mean, since 1895, I think you got the jump on New World.
But you could you could just have this story you just shared.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could have that inside the lid, so when the retailer pops it open,
Right.
You know, or something.
Like a conquistador helmet or something.
Or you could just have a fucking like oyster with a pearl in it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't even have to do like the Spanish influence art or whatever.
Or like a golden tobacco leaf in the oyster.
Yeah. Or a tobacco leaf with a pearl in it. Mm-hmm. Or there's endless combos.
Yeah, that they could have done.
It doesn't even have to be in color. It could just be like, you know, this cream color here with like that brown color writing.
Yeah, like just some etching. Yeah.
Yeah, and like an outline of like a pearl and an oyster. Or
yeah, kind of like the Grey Cliff box that has just the etching on the inside.
Yeah. I think so. Well, we'll get a chance to talk all about this when we rate them for presentation.
Yeah.
But overall, man, this is a fucking cool cigar.
Like, it really is.
Like, this is the kind of cigar, like, if you want to look like you're smoking a cigar, this is it.
Yeah,
like,
this is a cigar.
Like, it's got the band, like, it's not gimmicky or childish, you know, artwork. It looks like it could be expensive, but it's not, which is a real benefit. Yeah,
definitely. I smoked this for the first time last year, and I must say I smoked the Maduro right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one hell of a smoke and absolutely different from anything I've ever smoked. So that's one of the cool things about this cigar as well. Like when I introduce people to this cigar, I'm like, it's hard for me to describe the flavor. We're going to do a better job on this one. I'm going to try to do a better job on here. But when I'm trying to pitch this, I'm like, this is something you haven't tasted before. It's just a very unique flavor.
Yeah. Well, Corojo is probably my favorite wrapper. You know, I swing back and forth. Ecuadorian Sumatra is really high on my list right now.
Yeah. Oh, and, yeah, absolutely.
And actual African Cameroon.
I don't think I've had any actual African Cameroon.
And then on top of that, a fucking, like, properly aged, like, Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro wrapper. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I guess it's hard to say I have a favorite wrapper. But, like, my default wrapper is, like, Corojo.
Yeah.
So I was looking forward to this. And I would say right now it's a medium body. You can see the burn line is adequate. You know, it's nothing to write home about. It's a little squirrely right now. We'll see how it evens out. Ash is stacking up nice. Yep. It's burning well.
Wrapper's mid-body. Mid-body. Wrapper's a little oily.
I don't know. It seems kind of dry to me.
A little shine, just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a dry cigar. That came out wrong, but it doesn't feel super oily to me. It's definitely not waxy. Yeah, it's got a little sheen, I guess. You can see the oil coming out, though, closer to the cherry. Like, south of the burn line, you can see the oil start to come out, so. Yeah, I do like the design on this band, man. It's kind of sharp.
It is. I like it. I dig it.
Oh, I wore my new Omega Seamaster.
Nice. Yeah.
This is the 007 edition or something. So.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all right.
Which 007, do you know?
No, it's just 007.
Just 007.
Yeah. It's not like whatever.
So
Die
it's
Another
not
Day version or something.
It's not the cool one. It's not Sean Connery.
It can be.
Yeah. I don't know.
There's only one James Bond, son, and his name is Sean Connery.
Yeah. I was more of a Pierce Brosnan kind of guy because that's the guy I grew up with.
Well, Pierce Brosnan? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think, well, I mean, Timothy Dalton should be, like, scratched from the record. I would probably go with Sean Connery first, and then I'd probably go with Daniel Craig.
Yeah, Daniel Craig is definitely.
But I think part of that is just his movies were a little less, like, they just went way too far. Like, you're fucking driving an Aston Martin off an iceberg or something and crashing a helicopter. You know, it's like, no.
They got a little too Fast and Furious-y for me.
Yeah, it did. And I think part of that was, like, they were exploring that shit in the 90s. And they're like, hey, look what we can do on camera, you know, and it was cool.
Yeah.
And now, after, like, 27 Michael Bay movies, we're all like,
yeah.
You know, like, definitely, like, Casino Royale was probably the most realistic of the modern Bond films.
You know, that's the one I didn't really finish seeing.
Oh, yeah, the first, like, the reboot one.
Yeah.
I mean, there was tons of crazy stuff, like running up a fucking crane and stuff.
Yeah.
But there weren't any stupid gadgets, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of believable storyline for James Bond, I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're far enough in to give some commentary on taste. So tell me what...
All right.
Oh, by the way, a little bit more about the cigar. It is a Nicaraguan Puro. The Corojo wrapper, though, is grown from Ecuadorian seeds in Nicaragua. So that's the provenance, I guess, Cuba to Ecuador to Nicaragua.
Yep.
For the wrapper.
Also, to note, this was previously owned by a Cuban company. I'm not sure when it switched hands, but it did at some point, clearly around the revolution.
Yeah. You mean the name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The name and
PDM
the blend. Yeah. So
I doubt the blend is anything close to what it used to be.
maybe, but that's just what it said. They said, but like
Yeah.
when we were looking up, Jason Newman doesn't really reveal much about it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That might be on par then. Why they don't say anything?
I'd say medium to slightly light smoke output.
Yeah,
It's on the,
definitely light.
It's on the light, like not the character of the smoke itself, but the amount of smoke.
Yeah,
I'd say it's lighter than medium.
Yeah.
Smoke output.
when I keep drawing, it's I'm getting a little overzealous every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna assume good draw for you.
Yeah, it's a good draw. I measure the smoke output by the number of smoke rings I can blow.
Mm-hmm.
And so with this one, I got like 2.5.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's on the like 3 is medium.
Yeah.
Smoke output. 4 is like heavy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a little heavier on the draw. Not like super tough to draw, but
A little tighter.
yeah.
A little tighter. So with this is like just a normal cut, and I agree. I like an authoritative draw to get smoke out of my cigar.
Yeah.
I think this is on the tighter side. Sometimes box presses actually tighten up as they smoke. Sometimes they loosen up. Mostly they tighten up, though.
Yeah.
A little bit, oddly. But what are your thoughts on taste?
I'm getting a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah,
definitely. Because it's an Ecuadorian seed.
I would say sweet cedar. Like
I keep going to that sweet cedar.
Yeah, like if I took a cedar plank and I took some simple syrup
Yeah.
and I was stirring the simple syrup for a cocktail, like with that cedar stick, and then I kind of scraped it off on the edge of the pan, and then I just kind of like ran it past my nose. That's really what I'm getting. I think there's a little earth in there, and it's a little like there's a little like spicy earth.
Yeah, just a little bit.
It's very, I don't know, like mild and smooth. Like the flavors they go together really well. You know, like it's hard to pick them out, sort of. But those are the primary flavors right now. I would say is like a spicy earth.
Yeah.
And a cedar, a sweet cedar.
Yeah. No sea salt.
No sea salt. Or pearls.
Or pearls.
No mar.
No mar.
Perla. All right. I think those are some pretty good initial tastings, and as we smoke it down, we'll see if it starts to change and stuff.
Okay.
About a half inch in. So.
Yep.
Yeah, about 3/4, maybe. Your burn line's better than mine.
Yeah. That was a great smoke, man. It still hasn't really changed shape. I know we're not that far down, but
yeah, it's interesting. That means it's burning pretty cool. It looks like.
yeah. So not a lot of heat buildup.
A little more barrely around the burn line.
I think you just got to smoke more.
Maybe, but look, see how the ash is still oval shaped?
Yeah.
A lot of the time on your box press, it'll just be a round ash because it expands as it heats up. Back to its round origin. Socials. Thank you, everybody that has reached out. You can reach us at Burnline Podcast on all the socials. How's the Facebook page coming along?
We're getting views, just not as many interactions. And obviously, we got a shout out from 2C.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, thanks for the coffee.
Thanks for the coffee. That ass up. Appreciate that. And of course, we're on Instagram. I'll post some stuff like this Asylum 2023-11, number 11, stuff that doesn't make it on the show.
Yeah.
I post a lot of that stuff on the Instagram. As well as some beauty shots of Johnny Midas in his natural habitat.
I think that's a stretch.
Yeah. So reach out, and of course you can comment, DM, whatever. We do have a DM from Instagram is what kicked off our Tobacconist Tip of the Week that we're going to get to in a minute. Okay. And that's, hey, can you talk about how to actually retrohale for somebody that hasn't done it before?
Yep.
Yeah, great question. So we're going to get into that. Shout out to Amanda Lynn for that. Comment, and you can email us as well, burnlinepodcast@gmail.com. Drop us a line, and we would love to read your email on air. Make this a show about you, which is really what Burnline Podcast is all about.
Absolutely.
Uncommon cigar knowledge for the common cigar smoker. So keep that train rolling. Help us out. Like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And of course, we're on YouTube as well as Spotify and Google Podcasts and Stitcher and SoundCloud and I don't know, almost everything. I don't think we're on Apple. I think that's the only one.
I have no idea. I don't have anything Apple, so.
Yeah. That's the only one, and it's just because it's a pain in the dick and you got to pay money, so.
Yeah.
That's where we're at on the socials. So I think with that, it is time for the Tobacconist Tip of the Week. And now your Tobacconist Tip of the Week with Angel Solorio.
Okay. So retrohale. Best way I can explain it is, so you're going to do your regular draw, but you're going to exhale through the nostrils. It might be a little bit more difficult for the beginner, but definitely for the more intermediate to, people with experience. I don't want to say expert because I don't know if there's an expert or, cigar smoker, because I don't really think that's a thing when it comes to this.
Yeah, experienced.
Just experienced smoker. Yeah.
So let me walk you through, and I don't actually exhale when I retrohale.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit sometimes. But here's what we're going to do. You're going to do a normal draw, okay? Now, how you draw is with your tongue. You draw it to the back of your mouth. You're not breathing in. If you do that, you'll choke to death, right? So you're pulling smoke into your mouth with your tongue. You're not breathing, or some folks, depending on your level of experience and stuff, you might be breathing in through your nose while you're drawing in through your mouth. But I don't.
No.
I am not breathing whatsoever when I take smoke into my mouth from my cigar. Throat's closed. I'm just using my tongue as you pull your tongue back towards your throat. It just draws air in like a syringe.
Yeah.
Right. Robert, at this point, I have a big mouthful of smoke. Now, all I'm going to do is open my nostrils and push my tongue towards the roof of my mouth, and it pushes the smoke out of the nose.
Yep.
At the same time, I might exhale through my nose a little bit, kind of gets the flow going, but I barely breathe out at all while I'm retrohaling. So I'm going to kind of put that all together and show folks. In. Out through the nose.
Yep, I kind of cheated it a little there, but...
And I will do a combo, too. Like, I'll start the air going through my nose,
Yeah.
and then push the rest out through my mouth, because I'm just trying to get that extra flavor.
Yeah.
But I also need to breathe and stuff like that, you know.
So basically, what the retrohale does, it adds to the experience. It's not like a flex or anything. When you're smoking a cigar, you know, you're getting a lot of your flavor through your mouth. So you're very limited on that, especially when it's just smoke. At the end of the day, it's just smoke. So your tongue is, you know, your palate's going to pick up on maybe, 40 to 50% of the flavor of the cigar.
Right.
And then once you go through your nostrils, now you're bringing in another sense into it. So that's probably going to jump it up to, maybe 70% of the flavor. 80.
Yeah, yeah. Like, a lot of what we're doing when we taste anything is smell.
Yeah.
Right? Like, to go together, whether it's food, wine, whatever. The problem with cigars is if you breathe in through your nose, you can smell it, but I literally just choked doing that.
Yeah.
Just a sniff, because the smoke is, like, heavy and particulate.
Yep.
And as soon as it hits your lungs, it's like, no, that is not how you're supposed to do this, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's proven scientifically you can taste with your smell. Alone.
Yeah.
Alone with your smell, you can taste.
Yeah. So by getting the smoke into your nostrils, you're improving your what you're tasting, the number of things you're tasting, without breathing into your lungs.
Right.
And I'm still, like, just from that demonstration, like, I have to cough and watery eyes and stuff like that. Right? It's just not, you know, cigar smoke's not designed to be sucked into your lungs. And so it's kind of like a reverse sniff.
Yeah.
You know, you're sniffing out, and that lets you smell the smoke without choking to death.
Yep.
So that's kind of your retrohale. That's the value of it. And man, so did you start retrohaling right away? Did you start later? How did
I definitely did not. I think I started last year or the year before.
Okay.
Maybe 2021. Yeah, way later into my smoking. I just never thought about it. Nobody ever mentioned it when I first smoked. So
yeah, I think I read about it online or something, and gave it a shot. And man, game changer.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like I mostly retrohale on cigars like this and like something more higher end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like a house cigar, I won't even bother, or something that I just want to smoke, I won't bother. But you know, once you're getting into the more complex cigars, I definitely do it.
And there's a few that, like the Padron 1926. Yeah, I'll retrohale once every few minutes, 5-10 minutes, because it's so strong. Like it singes my nose hair. That's what it feels like. It's like it's
you'll
singeing
definitely
my nose.
You'll definitely catch a quicker buzz doing it that way as well.
Yeah.
So,
So strong cigars. Be careful with the retrohale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you will get some of it. It won't make you choke, but it'll go into your lungs. So now you're adding more smoke and nicotine into your body.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what the retrohale will do.
Yep.
So just be cautious.
So back to the cigar, and you're about twice as far along as you were when we first tasted it. I haven't detected any real change. It's still pretty much sweet cedar and spicy earth. Maybe a touch of leather now, though.
Yep.
A little salty leather, maybe. Touch of salt.
I don't taste the salt, but I do taste the leather.
Okay.
A little leathery. Maybe there is sea salt in this. Just a little pinch.
Just a little pinch.
Yep.
And I would say definitely mid-bodied.
Yeah. Till we get closer to the end, where, I mean, what have we come across so far? Every time we smoke a Nicaraguan Puro,
by the time
you get closer to the end, it's like, whoa, there it is.
Yeah. First third to last third, it picks up.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. But right now, it's just mid-bodied, mid-strength.
Yeah.
The smoke output, I would like a little more smoke output on it.
Yeah, definitely a little bit more.
I'm not sure what the deal is there, but
it's missing a lot of the Cuban-esque details to it.
Yeah. but it's got a good flavor profile at this price point. You know, this is a nice daily smoke, I think. It's just, there's plenty of folks I know that daily cigars that want something with a little more smoke and a little more strength.
Yeah.
Not a lot more, but if you compare this to like I think a comparison to a Perdomo is apt. So like a Perdomo Habano Sungrown. Dude, that Sungrown has way more flavor and spice and punch. And, you know, it's the same price point. So, interesting. Definitely, like, this is definitely a smoother stick, though.
Yeah.
Than the Perdomos. All right, with that, why don't we talk about the difference between sun-grown and natural wrappers? So,
they're both naturally sun-grown.
yeah, like, all right, so we've been talking about, we will always talk about on this show, the difficulty with cigar nomenclature and taxonomy. And, like, you know, because branding and marketing versus, like, you know, technical stuff, like, it's always different. So it reminds me of Saturn back in the 90s. I don't know if you remember. It was a GM brand that made small cars.
Yeah, I remember Saturn. Yeah.
They had an engineering defect where when you were rear-ended frequently, you know, you go forward, hit the airbag, and then go back. And when the occupant would go back, the seat would break, and the seat would collapse into the back seat.
Nice.
The driver's seat, yeah, or passenger seat. And it was an engineering defect, full stop. And it was marketed as a benefit by GM as collapsing seats. The car takes the impact of the crash, not your spinal column, right?
That's not how that works, GM.
I don't know if it works that way or not. All I know is that's how marketing works for damn sure, right? So, and you run into that problem a lot with how cigars are named. So this is a Corojo. It was grown out in the sun. Is it sun-grown or natural?
I think it's natural because it's grown in a valley.
Well, so here's what I came up with. And if you know more than this, shoot us a line, burnlinepodcast@gmail.com, or reach out on the Instas. Of course, I did my internet research, but I also talked to a couple of guys that are in the industry growing, right, that grow tobacco. And here's what they said. Natural is the older term, and it means you took the leaf, you aged it, cured it, and made a cigar out of it. You just grew outside. As opposed to Maduro or Oscuro, where there's a specific process to the aging and curing, like you're doing it this way for this amount of time, at this temperature, et cetera, et cetera. Natural's like, no, I grew a tobacco out in the leaf, tobacco leaf out in the wild, and, you know, I cut it at some point, you know, bundled it up, let it dry out, you know, put it in a pilon, made a cigar.
Yep.
Sun-grown came along later as more of a marketing term, and it typically refers to tobacco that's kind of grown more in the plain, where it gets sun all the time, right? Now that's not a super, like, unless you're modifying like the biome intentionally, that's not really a fair I don't know, terminology, because, well, what about Cameroon? Like, I don't know if you've seen Cameroon, but it's pretty fucking flat.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that's sun-grown by default. You know? And so where it bleeds over really into actual process, when they say sun-grown, typically they're leaving them out a little longer because they're not shade-grown or something like that. They're definitely tougher, like physically thicker leaves and stuff. And they tend to develop a spiciness. So this is something that I was reading a couple of places. They're like sun-grown wrappers, you know, boost a fuller profile. And they kept like a lot of different sites. I don't know if they're copying each other. They're like, there's a natural sweetness to a sun-grown wrapper. I don't know. I mean, in my experience, the main difference is it's spicier.
Yeah.
There's a pepper component to sun-grown specifically. So that's kind of like the differences that we came up with. Natural is really just means I didn't do anything special in the curing and aging process. And then Sungrown is, kind of more of a marketing term. Every Sungrown is a natural.
Yeah.
Right? And every leaf was grown in the sun at some point to some extent.
Right.
Like you got to have sunlight to grow anything.
Maybe some artificial sun somewhere.
Maybe, yeah. It's 2023, man.
Yeah, I guess you could, maybe up here at some point we could probably grow it year round in a massive like greenhouse.
Yeah, in a greenhouse, yeah. So experientially, though, what can you expect? Because I think that's probably what matters to most of our listeners. With a sun-grown wrapper, it's going to be a little darker,
yeah,
what they call a natural, and it should be a little spicier, a little pepperier.
Yeah.
A little stronger. And that's pretty much it, For some companies like Perdomo, like they don't have anything they call a natural wrapper. Right? They have a Connecticut, which is grown in the shade. They have a sun-grown, and then they have a Maduro.
Yeah.
And, man, that's not a bad way to think about regular cigars.
Yeah.
It's either just grown in the field, or it's grown in the field with some extra processing to make it dark and rich and aged and everything. Or it's grown under some kind of shade.
Yeah. Right? And for those that don't know, shade grown means like they literally put massive, what would you call it? Like canvas? Like
muslin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sheets of cloth.
Yeah. And so it doesn't allow for much sun to get through, but enough for them to grow because clearly you need sun for plants to grow. So, and it's a more expensive, more tedious process.
Right. And, those leaves are much lighter, obviously. They don't get sunburned.
No, they don't.
And greener. And traditionally, you can... the claim to fame with the Sobra Mesas, like, this is properly aged.
Yeah.
Connecticut. But traditionally, it's more bitter.
Yep.
Right? The leaf it has more chlorophyll in it, which makes it more bitter. It's basically like... It's almost the tobacco is almost in emergency response mode, where it's like, I'm not getting enough, so I've got to like really fucking up my game,
right?
And like overproduce.
Yeah.
So you're kind of stressing the plant out a little bit with that. That's a pretty nice ash. You got almost 2 inches there.
Yep, I'm trying to go for it. So
yeah,
see how far we can go.
So good construction.
Yeah, definitely good construction since it's holding up this well. The other thing with that shade grow, the other pro is like, it also has protection from the elements.
Mm-hmm.
So, unfortunately, how many times have we heard about crops getting lost to hail or heavy wind damage?
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Newman is a big cigar manufacturer. So's General. And, if I wanted to hate on a cigar company, General would be up there. I think they have a lot of stuff that is overpriced for what you get, and it doesn't have like the panache of a Ferriotego or something like that.
I can name another G company that is not that impressive or worth it.
Having said that, though, if there's one thing that Newman and General can do, that is produce a high quality smoke at a low price point. I'm thinking of the Mark Twain Riverboat.
Oh man,
by General. I mean, dude, you can't fucking beat that with a stick.
No.
I mean, I bought boxes and boxes of them. That is definitely the dog walker. Like, I can do anything with that, so I don't care. It was like $4.
Yeah,
but it's still good.
It's a good
consistent
cigar.
Quality. Well, same thing with this PDM. Now, for all of you out there in the interwebs, we do not typically save the cigar for the show because we want to be fair. We typically will smoke one or two before we smoke it on the show. There's some exceptions, like the Opus X is too fucking expensive.
Right, and good luck trying to get more to smoke before.
I might be writing up it as a business expense, but it's still an expense.
Right.
But for the PDMs, this was an easy one to smoke ahead of time. And very consistent. Like, this is good quality, good construction. You can see it on your ash. So shout out to Newman for their consistent quality.
There it goes.
Got it. All right,
coming.
and the most impressive ash drop award of the day goes to El Fumo. Way to go.
Nice. We'll get that later.
Yeah, good luck with that $17,000 super phone you got there.
Yeah, it'll be fine. That's what insurance is for.
It's ash proof.
Yep.
All right, so you're a little farther along than I am. What notes are you picking up? Anything changed?
Not really, honestly.
Yeah, it's very consistent. I like that it's not a one-note cigar.
Yeah.
However, the notes that it has, which is primarily four,
Yeah.
right, which is peppered earth and sweet cedar.
Ooh, a little vegetal, actually.
I was going to say, I'm picking up a touch of vegetal bitters.
Right at the end, as it comes out.
So it's and a touch of leather now. Mm-hmm. So it's changing a little bit in this second third.
Yeah, definitely. Once you get further down, the vegetal is very, very pronounced. And then I got a proper inhale of it.
I think it's on the retro. You can definitely, I think the...
Oh, on the retro, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it smells like? Mowing the grass.
Yeah, it does. It does. I was going to say, you ever have like you're mowing the grass and you got like a shed or something out back, and around the shed there's all these like viney growth things that come up, and you take the weed whacker and you just kind of knock them down because you can't get close enough with the lawnmower.
Yeah, like a dewy,
That
wet
smell that comes out when you're doing that, yeah.
That is awesome. I did not pick that up on the Maduro. So there is a difference.
It's kind of cool though because there's definitely a hint of leather, and then on this vegetal, it's starting to come in for me. I'm a little behind, I think. There's a hint of floral
Okay.
in there. Like it's vegetal, but it's like when you have morning glories in the garden.
Yeah.
You know, you got that little bit of flower smell in there too, that's definitely a Cuban thing. That's kind of cool.
So there's the Cuban part of it.
But I'll tell you that sweet is still on
Yeah.
there. Like a lot of the time, like especially the way that we set up our cigars and we toast them, like that first couple of puffs is amazing.
Yep.
Compared to a lot of folks, that's throwaway time. Like
Yeah.
you're a half inch in before it's a real cigar, you know. And a lot of the time you pick up the sweetness right off the bat.
Yeah.
And it tapers off. And this hasn't. Like
No.
the back of your palate, especially if you skip the retrohale, there's just a lot of sweetness on it.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. Half retro, though, is really cool. Because, like, you get the sweet cedar, a little bit of peppered earth. And then when you retrohale, like, you get the leather and kind of floral vegetal.
Yeah. Also, not a stinky cigar either. So that's what, 3 or 4 non-stinky cigars we've had in a row?
Yeah, this is not offensive. Like, if you smoke on the back porch or something, your neighbor's not going to be giving you the stink eye. Yeah, I think I would like just slightly looser draw. And I think I would like a little bit more smoke output.
Yeah.
Those are kind of quibbly complaints, though, on a $9 stick. And a box of 25 is a good quantity. I feel like if you want a daily, this is a good one to go ahead and get that box discount here at Union Cigar Hanover.
Yeah.
You know, comes out to $8.10 a stick. Pretty good deal.
So for 25, you can smoke for a month.
Yeah. Yep. If you smoke a cigar every day, that's the way to go. And then just save your pennies for the special, occasion cigars throughout the month. I'm coming up on a smoke-free month, so I'll have to make an exception for the podcast, I guess. I'll have a weird fucking palate, though.
Yeah.
So every month I pick one thing to not do.
Gotcha.
And it just, to me, it just develops that discipline of like, no, I'm in fucking control. So one month I'll skip caffeine. You know those months because I'm a real bitch. And then some months
not
it's
looking
like,
forward to it.
Yeah, some months it's sugar. Some months it's chocolate.
Should always be sugar.
Some months it's meat. And
that sounds terrible.
Some months it's cigars.
That sounds terrible as well.
Those are my 2 least favorite months of the year.
Yeah, I would say.
I mean, all I eat is meat and vegetables. Like, I'll definitely do some grains like rice or some beans.
Yeah.
But as side dishes, it's just meat and veg and eggs. I'll have eggs for breakfast, but that's it. That's my primary diet. So when you take the meat out, it's like, what do I do? I don't even know
what is life.
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not an animal murderer for a month.
I prefer to eat things that had faces. I saw this PETA ad, and it had like this beautifully dressed lamb chop, and then underneath it had this lamb that had just been birthed, and it was like, no matter how pretty they make it look, you're still eating somebody's baby. And I looked at that lamb, and I'm like, delicious. I can't wait to slit your throat and cut you up into chops. Sorry, dude.
Yeah.
Did you not know that's what you do?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and then the counter argument is, if you really want to kill a bunch of fucking living things, grow plants. Like, do you know what it takes to farm? You're literally murdering an entire ecosystem to plant those crops. I mean, every shrew, vole, mole, rabbit, everything, and they just get chopped up by those tines and
killing
those
bugs.
Discaros and all of it.
Not to mention the plant itself is a living being. But that argument's so silly. Like, we're kind of murdering a plant right now.
This was the destiny of this plant. It is genetically engineered to want to be a cigar. Yeah, so really, I think it's really interesting that, this cigar at this price point has kind of had this level of nuance in it. Yeah. This is definitely not something I'd write home. Hey, El Fumo, I found this awesome cigar. You got to try it, But it is definitely one where if you pick it up for a daily smoke, like, you're not going to feel like it was like, you got gypped, Definitely worth the money.
So I'm a little further along, and I must say exactly what we said at the beginning. The strength is picking up.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely in there.
Well, good tasting notes and commentary. And with that, I think it is time for our cigar news of the week. And now your cigar news of the week with Angel Solorio.
Cigar news of the week. We're smoking a cigar.
Smart ass.
No, but news of the week for those Oliva fans. They are releasing the Year of the Dragon. So that would be
another
pretty cool.
Chinese Zodiac inspired cigar.
Man.
Yay!
Non-trademark.
Non-trademark,
yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. You got those knuckleheads at Gurkha are suing Davidoff?
Yeah, Davidoff for
using Year of the Dragon. But their copyrighted branding doesn't include Year of the Dragon. It's just like everything else dragon.
It's dragon.
Frodo and the Dragon.
Dragon Lord.
Dragon Fire. Lord of the Flame. Something like that. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, and then on some not so good news, EP Carrillo is unfortunately raising their prices. It sucks for us, but hey, it's the economy. It's what they got to do.
Yeah, well, the market will let them know if it's okay or not, and I think it will be because fucking Carrillo makes some damn good cigars, and
people are still going to pay for it.
Yep.
It's EP Carrillo.
Yeah.
It's different between, hey, I'll pay for an EP Carrillo, definitely not paying for a Gurkha.
Right. Yeah, well, and also I think Carrillo's sold out consistently.
Yeah.
And you have trouble getting stock, and it's like, how do you combat that as a manufacturer? If you can't increase capacity, you raise prices.
Right. Like you guys talked about the Pledge.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a damn good smoke. I've smoked a few of them. That's worth the price. I mean, it's pricey, Encore. But it's worth the price. Yeah. You're getting a freaking amazing stick. So.
And you got one more piece of news for us, huh?
Oh, I almost forgot. Saving the best for last. So for those Amazon Basin fans, which I have smoked one, that is such a delicious smoke.
CAO.
Yep, CAO will be re-releasing it this year. So get
not
out
cheap
there.
Either.
Not cheap either.
Oh, that's the one with the That's the one with the pigtail wrapped around it?
Yeah.
Gosh, I was trying to remember the name of that cigar.
Uh-huh.
I was telling somebody, you got to smoke this cigar. They have a long pigtail that they bring it down and wrap it around the barrel.
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember. I was like, it's CAO.
Yeah.
I was like, is it a Session? I'm
yeah,
like,
and
no.
I smoke right through it. I don't even pull it off.
Yeah.
I smoke right through it.
Oh, that is a good cigar, man.
Yeah, that you definitely got to, you know.
What are they going to charge? Like $350 a box, probably $330, something like that.
Crazy expensive. Yeah, so it's $14.29 compared to $12.
Yeah.
That the last time they
right.
released.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years difference plus freaking inflation last year.
So in those last 2 years, combined inflation is 12%. You know, which is 12 cents per dollar if you want to think about it easily. So that's $1.44 on a $12 stick.
Yep.
So that goes from 12 to 13.44, and then you've got your supply chain costs and stuff like that. So going from 12 something to 14 something sounds about right, actually. That's not even really a price increase if you count inflation in.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. Everything's damn expensive these days. All right, I think it is time to wrap this show up and get into our ranking. We are smoking the Perla del Mar from J.C. Newman. This is the Corojo wrapper, Toro, 6 1/4 by 54. It retails for $9 here at Union Cigar, Hanover, Pennsylvania, USA, home of the Hot Box, the Smoky Back Room, where deals are struck and fortunes are made, that we are now videoing in. And box of 25 will set you back $202.10.
Yep.
Comes out to just over $8 a stick. So why don't we start with presentation?
Presentation, like I said earlier, let down on the box. Just pretty much the band on the box, and that's it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, no story. So let's get back into that. You know, you should. I mean, it's a great story, so why not tap into that in the marketing side of it? But you don't see that on the box unless you look up online, hey, why did they come up with a cigar? Where did the cigar come from? The origins, which is a great story. I mean, it is what it is. But I'll give it I think I'm going to give it a 7, only because the box could be better. But the band is freaking amazing.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, is like, once you take the cello off, it looks like an expensive cigar, and they just nailed it. Like with the band, it looks sharp. The colors are dead nuts. Everything is good, and they missed out on the box. So I think 7 is a really fair rating on presentation. And then price. So a $9 stick for what we're getting here. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm gonna give it a 9 because, like I said, the tobacco to price ratio is pretty great. Getting a lot of tobacco for $9, and in this economy, that's pretty freaking great. That's almost a budget cigar.
I gave it a 7 for price, and the reason for that is all I do is compare it to the other cigars at this price point.
Okay.
And it doesn't stand out to me. It's not bad, but you got plenty of offerings from Perdomo, DBL, other companies that are just as good or better at the same price point. So I would call this, a good offering in the price range. But if I had to choose between this PDM Corojo or another cigar at this price point, I'm not going to pick this one out just because of what it is.
Yeah.
Right? So to me, that's a 7. It's good. They did a good job. And we'll leave it at that. So how about construction? What do you got for construction?
Construction, I'm definitely going to give it a 9 because, I mean, it's holding very well together. The box press is gone. Mm-hmm. It's now just a regular round Toro. So, but it hasn't fallen apart. The burn line's pretty consistent. It got a little curvy
Hella
there.
good ash.
Yeah, good ash. Mine didn't fall apart at the cap. Is it still holding on? Yeah, it is.
It's okay. Yeah. So, a couple of good points. Burns consistently. You held your ash. It was aged enough. You can tell from the ash and the quality of the ash and how it's burning.
Yeah.
Couple of things that leave something to be desired. First is the draw is a touch too tight. Yeah. It's not something you'd call tight. You wouldn't want to pull out your draw poker or mess around with it. It is very consistently tight. I think it's just how they made it. And it's just a little tight. It wasn't as big a deal for me because I like a robust draw, but it's there. Number 2, the cap leaf did come off. I just kind of licked it and stuck it back down, and I haven't been tonguing with it, so not as bad as it could be. Third issue, you can see my burn line there.
Yeah.
The burn line has been not pretty the whole time. Is that being picky? Yes. Are there dozens of cigar, maybe hundreds of cigar companies that consistently produce cigars with a great burn line? Yes. So it's not that picky. I gave it a solid 7 for construction. I think it's good. Could be improved upon, probably without even increasing production cost.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing them put a little draw test in the factory on this guy.
Yep. By the way, real quick, since I'm getting closer to the final third, the spiciness picked up just a little bit, and I'm getting a little bit of what did we talk about last time? Like an alcohol kind of flavor to it.
Astringent.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very typical on Nicaraguan Puros. Spice picks up, astringency picks up, strength picks up.
Yeah.
Not surprising, but I think welcome. Now, if you picked this up hoping for a kind of a buttery, smooth, mild, mid-mild smoke,
yeah, it's
you're
not
gonna
that.
love it the first inch, and then as you get further down, it's like, wait a minute, I'm a Nicaraguan, So that brings us to flavor, and what are you thinking on flavor?
Gonna give it an 8. Thanks. Pretty consistent through. Changed a couple times.
All right.
I was not a fan of the very strong vegetal.
Right.
It's not terrible, but I'm personally not a fan of it.
Right. Gotcha. I had a solid 7. Pretty sure I'm going to give this a 7 on everything. The flavor's great. There's nothing to complain about. If you pick this cigar up, you're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
On the flip side, there's nothing to write home about. There's nothing that sticks out as making it special or unique or, oh, you got to try this. It's more just if you're looking for a cigar on this price point, this is a good choice.
Oh, yeah.
Solid daily smoke. The Corojo wrapper didn't do as much for me as I kind of wanted it to.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a little bit of creamy spices and sweetness.
Yeah, the sweetness definitely went away.
Yeah. Mid third, the sweetness kind of just drops off.
Yep.
Off the cliff almost. So I give it a 7 there, and that brings us to experience and use case on this cigar. I mean, you can do pretty much anything with it. I think I would be a little hesitant to do like the dog walker or fishing just because it's not that cheap. At the same time, it's pretty affordable daily smoke in today's market.
Yeah, you could grill with it, watch a game.
Definitely.
Bring it to a lounge.
Yeah, you could smoke it in the lounge too. And you're just going to get a solid, like, approachable, reliable cigar out of it. So what are you thinking on experience?
Experience? I'm going to give it a 7, actually. Only because I didn't like the tight draw on it.
Yeah, I had a 7 for experience as well. Big surprise. Yeah, I think it's a good cigar. It's not a great cigar, and it's not like a super value at the price point. But you're not going to be disappointed in anything.
Oh, absolutely not.
It's just not as good as it could be in pretty much every area. It's not quite good enough to do what we're doing, which is, hey, let's smoke it and taste all the nuance.
Yeah,
it's not quite there. It's not definitely not going to be used for any kind of celebration or special cigar.
Right.
You could gift it to somebody, like, hey, you want to smoke a cigar with me? It's pretty approachable.
Yep.
So I think 7's a fair rating, and that brings the total ranking for this Perla Del Mar from J.C. Newman Corojo wrapper Toro 6 1/4 by 54 to 36. So
Okay.
mid 30s, which I think is right where it should be. I think if I kind of guessed the total score before going through each step, I'd say mid-30s. This is a solid stick to pick up, and if you're in the habit of smoking $9 cigars, definitely give it a try. It's going to be totally different from like a Padron 3000 or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely like the Maduro better.
Yeah,
this one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the PDM Maduro is a little bit better, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'm interested, though, on the blend. Like, is the only difference between the two the wrapper? Or is there some other difference?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be a topic for another podcast.
Absolutely.
Well, El Fumo, thanks for joining me today for another fantastic episode of Burnline Podcast. For all of you guys out there in the interwebs, thanks for joining us. We'll see you again next week.